2013, I was hit by a bus that came from behind me while I was on my bike. So it fractured my arm, it fractured all my teeth, it gave me a head injury, it damaged my hip permanently. And so from that point forward, I couldn't do my work anymore. I had lost all my finances because of that bus accident, and I had lost a lot of my ability to speak properly, to walk properly. I still can't lift things properly, and it's often why I have an assistant with me. But the real important story is that my family and my loved ones and my friends came together and they understood the importance of this dream to not just Indigenous people, but to all allies. The people want to know, what is Indigenous culture? Who are we? Who are the Anishinaabe people? Who are the Cree people? Who are the Haudenosaunee people? Who are all the nations that lived here? All of the generations that are living on the land now can finally have access to start to learn about who are Indigenous people. Well, it's time to start learning.
We look at cycles of life, our infancy, our youth, our adults, our elders. We think about those different aspects in which then we think of food.
Okay, we're making the spirit plate right now for all of our ancestors. One plate of food and learning all the stories that go with it. That's learning the history of Indigenous people. Too much. So it's a lot more than a plate of food, and yet it's just a plate of food. Bonjour, my name is Chef Joel White Duck Ringuette. My mother is Ojibwe and Algonquin, and she's a white duck. My father's of mixed heritage. My father has Indigenous heritage along with French and English. Nobody talked about the food being your traditional food. And we just learned about cooking on open fires. So that was really the inspiration of my childhood to becoming a cook and then becoming a chef, and particularly specializing in our Indigenous food. It's really where it came from. It was a series of stages throughout my life. The stories that I remember the most are the cold stories, because those kind of things stay with you longer. So our father used to take us up to a lake called Elk Lake. Sometimes it was 40 below, sometimes it was colder. He would teach us to ice fish, so he would bring his hand auger and drill a big hole in the ice with his hand auger, and we would be all bundled up and fishing out on the ice. So those are the memories I have of learning how to get fish in those kind of temperatures.
We are on the Humber River, located on the west end of Toronto, where we're going to be looking for trout. I have one particular spot in mind that I want to go where normally a few trout like to hang out. And so we'll head down there and see if we can catch some.
Bro, can we have
Hey man, you got to be very careful down there.
We were on the river.
Well, you got to be very careful because you know on the river the water's moving, right? When I became a father, you know, I knew that a very big part of life was about sharing that experience. Ani Wenana Bojo, Chichak and Adishnakas, Maingindodem, Toronto Adunjaba. And so my ancestry is Anishinaabe. And my mission has been over the years to connect people with the natural places around them. And so for me with my business now is to connect with people in the land. And so in many ways that's doing tours or taking people fishing or trying to just pass on those traditions in a good way. Okay, come on, Cal.
There's not that. I think we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, wow, the water clarity looks beautiful.
Oh my God, it's
It's beautiful today. Wow, it's crystal clear.
That's what I said.
Whoa.
I think I can see one
Yep.
right over there.
Okay, we're gonna go this way, come on. Ever since my little guys, even before they were walking, many times I'd take them down to the river and just place them down onto a spot next to the river. You could see their eyes open up. All right, let's wait here. Let's do our smudge here. You could see the sense that they were in a place of belonging. Okay, so what is it? Sweetgrass. And what are we gonna do with sweetgrass?
It's bringing all the good things into us.
Right, so that idea is that we're gonna be taking hopefully a fish home today with us, and we're gonna be taking that life. So, do we wanna be in a good way?
Yeah.
All right, would you like to hold it? Yeah. Okay, you hold it. Okay, wait, come here. Okay, wait, okay, shake. Oh, Ringuette, thank you, that beautiful medicine. And now, you're gonna smudge the air? Okay, look, and now can I smudge you?
No, wait, I want to smudge the fish.
Okay, when we get it, okay? Well, here, your smudge. Oh, Ringuette. So what else do we have to do?
Say Jimmy Gutch to the river.
And how do we do that?
We go down to the river.
Yeah? And so here. And put some tobacco, that's right. And so why are we giving that gift of tobacco?
Because we're going to pray for the fish.
Yes, we're gonna pray for the fish. And are we praying for the water?
Yeah.
And so we ask the water to stay healthy?
Yeah.
And so we want that fish to be healthy?
Yeah.
And so what do we say when we put our tobacco down?
Jimmy Gutch.
We say Ringuette. And what does that mean?
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on over. Yeah, fish. Very careful. Yeah. Woo! Give me 5. All right. Give me 5.
What?
Oh, all right. You can go out, like I take my boys out on the land to harvest those fish, and all those different animals, is that we let them know that we're taking their life. We're letting them know that we want to appreciate and have gratitude. Traditionally, our ancestors lived in a good way with the land. We were able to come down to these waters, and for thousands and thousands of years, we've been able to have that relation where we can take out these next generations to bring them out into a space to be able to teach them about that good life. And so I want to pass this on to you so that you guys, as you grow up, you're going to be able to teach your children to be able to come down here.
I'm going to remember this fish for many years, and thank you for making this happen. And thank you for teaching us fishing.
And you're going to bring me out here when I'm an old man? Yeah, all right. Ringuette, thank you. All right, let's go. Come on. Let's go. That dream is to have a sustainable relationship with the land around us in a way that can be looked at as a resource, but it has to be looked at as a giving resource. We have to give in order to get. We can't just take and expect it to keep giving to us.
One of the The very first crops that many Indigenous communities grown, particularly Haudenosaunee, they are the people of the Longhouse, but they're also well known for the Three Sisters. But many nations were on this territory and many of us grew this. Those three plants support each other to grow to their full capacity, but they also revitalize the soil, which is extremely, extremely important about Indigenous agroecology. This is the squash, the bean, and the corn. That's what I'm gonna cook for you, yeah. That's one of the most famous dishes. It's vegan and it's gluten-free. And it's very special because it has a special corn in it. It's not any corn, it's a white corn. This corn, it creates huge energy inside your body. When you have these three plants together, all the proteins you need are in the combination of these foods together. So you don't need to eat any other kind of protein. It's right here in this food. So it's a whole food. It has all the carbohydrates, all the proteins, everything the body needs is within those three plants when they're cooked together. And the white corn is the key to that food.
The Three Sisters. This is a traditional Native American recipe from the Iroquois Nation. The Three Sisters refers to the three main crops of some North American tribes: corn, squash, and beans.
We've been serving Anishinaabe food to the Indigenous community and allies in Toronto for 15 years. And this is?
Mandy, I'm Cree, I'm a Red Seal chef. I'm Otter Clan, and I'm here to assist Joel.
And the Three Sisters is a very important dish as it is the very original crops that were ever grown on these lands anywhere in southern Ontario. This was the main crop that sustained all First Nations people. And Three Sisters is?
Squash, corn,
and
green
these
beans.
Beautiful green beans here. We also have this very, very important ingredient called white corn. And this white corn is very difficult to find. This corn comes from Six Nations. Six Nations is a reservation near Brantford or Hamilton, about an hour and a half from here. And this corn is Indigenous corn. It's been grown on this land for hundreds and hundreds of years. And this corn is special, it's not GMO, and it creates a special energy in the body when it's combined with these foods. So today we're gonna start with the squash. We'll prep the squash for the Three Sisters. One of the things we'll do with the squash is cube it, we'll square it so that it's easy to eat on a spoon. And we'll also save a portion of it to puree it. And the puree of the squash is gonna make the body of the stew. So right now we're just going to finish cubing up butternut squash. And you can use any squash in this dish. It doesn't have to be the butternut squash. There's many different squashes. There's a spaghetti squash, there's an acorn squash. There's so many different varieties. You can choose any one. We like this one because it's quite hardy. It's easy to cut. Essentially what you're gonna do is add a little bit of yellow corn to the dish, just for the sweetness. We also know that squash is very sweet. So that part of the dish we're gonna puree. You can bake this or you can boil this and then you puree it. You make it like a sauce part. So then we'll do a few of these. We're gonna take the white corn. The white corn is part of this. You can see how much more, looks like a hominy corn. It's very, very thick, and it has a very, very strong substance. Unlike how much, lighter the yellow corn is, you can see the difference in the size of the two pieces. Not too small though, too. Yeah, that's good. And then you're gonna do a bit of the This corn has to go through a process called the lye process. The lye process involves it to be boiled for 4 hours, and we have to add 1 cup of wood ashes. So ashes from a hardwood tree have to be added to this, and it has to be drained over and over again within the process of boiling it for 4 hours. So you put the wood ashes in the water with the white corn, you boil it, drain it, boil it again, more wood ashes, over and over again for 4 hours. That's how this corn becomes the product that it is now. Anyway, so this is gonna go in here. this precious white corn, and that is going to be pureed. And we'll just mix it up so that you can see all the things that are in it. We're going to add some salt and pepper. It's going to go into this tray. And a little bit of that. You want to take this and pour it in. So then this is going to be baked for about an hour and a half. And then at that time, we'll have already pureed this, and then this will be added to it. And then you can just add a little olive oil, and the only other thing it really needs is salt and pepper, which is right here. A little flavor to that. Beautiful. And that's it. So this is complete now. We're gonna bake it. So the three sisters, gluten-free and vegan, is gonna go in the oven for about an hour and a half at 350, 325. And then we'll add the pureed butternut squash to it. You can boil it until it's soft and mushy and ready to be pureed, blended, or you can roast it. In this case, this was roasted. As you may know, roasting takes longer, but if you roast it, you'll get deeper flavor out of the food. That's why we roast a lot of our food, just like we would have before when we only had fires and we did underground cooking in the ground. We roasted a lot of items. So this has been roasted butternut squash, and Mandy's gonna puree it now. Now as the squash is all pureed, we're gonna add it to the dish, and we're ready to show you our Three Sisters dish now. This is the Three Sisters complete. You can see the puree in the dish that we put in with the rest of the butternut squash, and then putting a little dill, a little more pepper on top. The accompanying salad with it is a mixed berry salad. It's got blueberries, strawberries, it's got mixed baby green organics, and some spinach with it. Balsamic maple vinaigrette. So this dish used to support communities like Indigenous people who lived in communities from up to 200 to 2,000 people. This was the main food.
So I've hung my fish overnight. I'm gonna do a butterfly fillet. I'm never perfect at cleaning fish. I don't think any of us ever really are. So it's an interesting process. You know, in North America, all of our Indigenous peoples often hot smoked fish. And so a lot of people are familiar with lox, which is a cold smoke, which came over from Scandinavia and Russia and those different areas. For them, this brining process was really key. And so that is a mixture of salt and sugar. Where we are in Ontario, it was really hard to get salt. But we did have extensive salt trades that were established pre-contact where we did have salt. And so instead of, you know, a modern kind of brown sugar, we always had maple sugar. When we hot smoke the meat, the smoke that cooks the meat actually disinfectants and creates a natural antibiotic, which then allows the meat to be preserved. So even today, in some of our traditional pots have been buried in the ground for some up to 300 or 400 years. And so different communities are starting to find them now where the meat is still edible. And so the food inside is completely safe to eat and is over 300 or 400 years. And so there is a science that goes into that process of smoke. And so I'm just gonna quarter these up into nice little squares. And so now I put all that fish, meat side down, skin side up. And so I'm going to be letting these soak for about 12 hours. So now that they've been soaking I want to rinse them off. And so just a general process, you can have a bowl of cold water and just gently just wash off any of that extra salt or sugar that is on that meat. It's also a very important process to let your fish dry. I'm going to get my smoker going. For first, I'm going to use those wet chips just so that they can smolder and release that flavor onto the meat there. So I'm going to use some dry chips just at the bottom, just so that that initial flame is able to kind of get things going. And now we're going to put those wood chips, those soaking wood chips, all the way on top there. You know, so traditionally, you know, for many Indigenous peoples, we had smokehouses. And so a lot of times over the process of history, a lot of people have been taken away from those camps. We lost a lot of that knowledge. And so there has been a great resurgence of many community members all across North America, Turtle Island, bringing back these old traditions. And so I live right here in the city, and so I don't have a smokehouse. I don't have a lot of land. I've just got a little balcony like this. And so I use a modern smoker, which is still does the process really good and really gets that wonderful flavor in that meat. And so I'm just going to turn that flame on, start that fire. And so right now that flame is really high. It's going to overcook that meat. And so what I want to do is I want to bring it down to almost just a little tiny flame. And so I'm going to transfer those chips into that smoker there, and I'm going to close it up, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes. So we've got a good amount of smoke. Put that fish in there. Take a look. Just right now, it's just too hot, so we're cooling that down. The fish is ready, but you can see the beautiful color, that beautiful smoke. And so now that fish is not only been cured, but has also been smoked. So that smoke works as a natural antibiotic as well.
We're making the spirit plate right now for all of our ancestors, putting the cedar plank salmon with dill into the spirit plate. We have a little bit of our mixed berry salad and a little bit of our three sisters in here. So I'm gonna just show you some smudging. This is sage. This is known as the woman's medicine, but everybody smudges with this. So then so now you have the smudge, and you take it and you waft it to your eyes, to your nose, to your mouth, to your ears, to your heart. And then you just put it onto the food. This smudging ceremony is to bring the best part of yourself to the world, so that you hear, you see, you speak, listen, and think, feel in a good way to the world. So smudging is a long time, like thousands of years of our people using these medicines. And this is sage. There's sweetgrass, which looks like this. This is the sweetgrass. This is known as Mother Nature's hair. This sweetgrass you can make tea with, but you also can smudge with it. It smells entirely different than the sage. It's very beautiful. And this plant is picked at specific times. And when you take the plant, you put down tobacco on the earth. Just like we're going to put down tobacco for this, that tobacco is praying and giving thanks back to Mother Nature and to creation. So every time you take something from the planet or from the earth, you give back, you give thanks, right? You say thanks, and this is the offering to our ancestors. And particularly on this day, supporting Indigenous Anishinaabe cuisine, Ringuette.
Today, a lot of us are in the kitchen, but if you can be on the land and have that fire and be around it, if you have the chance to go to a river and you feel that part of you grow. And so it's very important to feed that spirit.
If you look at the coffee board, you see that we listed all the coffees for people to learn our different nations. So if you want an Americano, you say, I would like Anishinaabe, so that you remember Anishinaabe. So if you want an espresso, you say Cree espresso, I would like a Cree espresso. If you want a latte, you say I would like a Lenape. These are all the nations, so you're learning Cree, you're learning Anishinaabe, you're learning Lenape, and the many more that you see here. So it's really a teaching hub. That's why this little restaurant is here. All of the generations that are living on the land now can finally have access to start to learn about who are Indigenous people. Why is there 200,000 Indigenous people in the city and we don't know who they are? Well, it's time to start learning.